Welcome to the Initiate, and we're just continuing the crash course Initiate training, you could say, and that has a real intensity, is my experience. And the intensity is that I can say literally bring in ideas. This is how I experience it in preparation. Like, I can bring in ideas that are so sharp, so to the point, because of the idea of initiate, of the idea of your true self, so to speak, and that makes it totally different in some way. Like, now we're using parables, but the parables are also always directing to listen, 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 and it's not about the pointing finger. Let's look, it is where it's pointing at, and this. So it's like that is the whole time going on in the preparation. Like, I don't leave that out of my focus, because it is great to use this as a recognition of, okay, so what is the quickest way to get to that, so to speak, or how can I cut through the chase in order to arrive, not with a certain outcome in the sense of time, but more like, let's have an overview of what we leave behind to in fact become here, present in this moment, and present in the sense of a multidimensional experience, and of that what you cannot describe, or that you cannot define, that is formless, that is, we know the definitions of even those words are used a lot, but in the preparation, how it comes to me, it is like a very clear point, as with a magnifying glass held against the sun, just pointing at and burning literally a hole in your paper. Maybe you did this as a kid. It's like burning a hole in the paper. You see, like, oh, so much energy, you can't believe it. Now this is what I experienced in the preparation, as an incredible focus on this one point, and recognizing that all else will just fall away, and not as a sacrifice, but just because you don't want it. Now you want to finally come to the place where you see, like, no, this is the only thing I want. Above all else, I want this. And now I say it comes deeper and deeper into my consciousness, that is so. And I see that reflected in what is occurring in my life, so to speak. Not that I'm looking for a result, but more like there's so much more I don't have to be concerned about. I literally don't have to go anywhere or need anything from this world in order to receive this in myself in this moment. Now, we approach this today from an interesting angle, and that was like a guiding light from yesterday too, when we met in the Truth Unveiled meeting with Joel Goldsmith. Like, there was the idea of evaluating yourself, huh? Like, you cannot really evaluate yourself, you know that. You can't really do that. And because the way that you look at yourself is images, is form, is comparison, and this has nothing to do with the truth of you. And at the same time, with any decision that you make, you in fact evaluate yourself. You make decisions based on what you think you are. So in other words, you evaluate yourself, and that makes you do this decision in a certain way. That makes you come to a certain decision. And you make decisions. How many do you make per day? How many moments during the day are you deciding? Probably every 10 seconds you make a decision. Am I going to listen to this? Am I going to go do something else? Am I following a thought? Am I looking at this or am I looking at that? Am I hearing that right? I make a decision to listen. I make a decision to see. I make a decision to talk. I make a decision to be quiet. I make continuous decisions, and they are all evaluations of myself. Otherwise, I didn't have to decide. So, in other words, I see myself in a certain way, and that comes with certain behavior based on my choice and based on my evaluation of how I see myself. Simple as that. So there's a very practicality. And then at the same time we say that you cannot evaluate yourself. You're not, and you say, yeah, you're right. You cannot evaluate. Of course not. No, that makes total sense. And what do? Every 10 seconds you make a decision. So, yeah, this is what I mean. So having a focus on the initiate of that, what doesn't have to decide, what just simply is, what is present in this moment, that one that is present in this moment doesn't have to make a decision. So in other words, it doesn't have to go anywhere either. It doesn't have to be something, it doesn't have to go anywhere, it doesn't need anything, because it is right here and it's fulfilled by definition, by creation. Not even by definition, but by creation. It was made that way. It was created that way, as an extension of that, what is perfect and what created perfect. See how fast this goes? It's unbelievable. Now we're here with still probably 2,400 to 3,000 choices per hour. That's, well, you calculate. You calculate how much that is in one day. So at least 60, 67. Luckily, you don't make that many decisions at night. But say like 60,000 decisions you make. My calculation is not good. So you have to recalculate it. But there's a lot. Let's say 2,400 in an hour, or maybe a little bit less. Okay, let's say 600 in an hour. Every 10 seconds you make a choice. So 600 per hour. So that's 15 hours awake, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Continuously making decisions. So now we need to go from there to the one decision where you end up with. That is the one that you decide not to decide. So this is like from, let's for the ease say 10,000 decisions per day. You go back to one decision in the morning. I'm not going to make any choices today. Show me, decide for me. I don't want to do this. I just want to listen. Here's the initiate speaking. It's like, just listen. Just listen. There are not 10,000 choices to make in every day. There are not 10,000 evaluations to be made of you, how you see yourself. No, there's one decision to make. That's a lot simpler. So no wonder, as a human being, no wonder that you're so incredibly exhausted and tired and sick and tired of being continuously in the way of yourself and making decisions to be a little bit in the way or totally in the way, thinking that there's a difference between the two. So, great, huh? So I'll make life a little bit easier for you. From 10,000 choices a day to one choice in the morning, I'm not going to decide today. Show me. You decide for me. Spirit, you decide for me. Give that to me. Instruct me. Guide me. I listen. So the only practice that I have is to listen. Now that's the very simple version of what I'm actually wanting to tell you today. And we do this in different ways. So like I said, this was one angle, coming to the idea of choice and seeing that you are actually evaluating yourself. Otherwise, you didn't have to make a choice. You think that it matters what you think about yourself, and that you take time to consider all these things. Now, coming back to another angle, so to speak, in this is then we're looking at here at where the real treasure is in you. Where's the real treasure, and how does it exactly work? How can I be in this non-choice place as an initiate? How can I be in that non-choice place and still do things in the world and not lose my sense of connection in the world? How does that actually work? Now here's a piece that I love to share with you, and we're using this in a meditation. We do that after we have listened to another parable, and this parable is the treasure, find the treasure. One day, riding his donkey, Lao Tse saw people digging diligently under ancient walls. "What are you looking for?" Lao Tse asked them. "If you are a sage who can see through all things, then tell us where the treasure is buried here. Is it worth to spend so much effort on a treasure hunt? Gold and other jewelry will not make you better or happier. If you dug up the ground and planted some seeds, the land would reward you with the harvest of your hard work. You would be well fed and happy and be able to live in peace. Why do you want to obtain that which you haven't created? We don't need your teachings. If you can't see through the stones, then don't play wise and go away." The treasure seekers became outraged. Lao Tse realized that these people did not need his words, and he went away. However, he recalled that once he read about a great treasure that must be found by a person who seeks Tao. "Huang Di, tell me about the treasure mentioned in the ancient tales. They say it has to be found on the path of cognition of Tao. They also say it is like a spring that lifts the mortal to the cognition of the immortality." "Well, you've asked a good question. It's just the right time for it," Huang Di replied. Lao Tse dismounted from his donkey and wanted to start writing down the words of Huang Di, but Huang Di stopped him. "Don't write about this treasure now. Just hear me out. The time has come to you to know this. It will also come, when it should, for every seeker of Tao. And then they will hear my words and see the priceless sacred depository of the energy of consciousness that they accumulated during many lives in many bodies. Every person living in the world begins to collect, incarnation after incarnation, precious particles that make up this treasure gradually. Loving unselfishly and tenderly, souls grow as in the spiritual hearts, preparing themselves for the life in paradise, giving the bliss to others and admiring the beauty. They become subtle, approaching gradually the abode of Tao. Thus the consciousness grows, enriching themselves with the best, the subtlest components. And to prevent squandering this real wealth of the soul on worldly affairs only, some of this energy is saved for the future, for the activities on the path to Tao. A lot of people have this treasure, but only few of them know about it. Some people have more of it, others less. If a treasure is buried under a house, but the owner of his house doesn't know about it, that owner can't get any benefit from that treasure. In the same way, if a person doesn't know about a real treasure, he or she can't get any benefit from it. And there's no point in trying to find this treasure in order to use it in the material world. Only the one who knows the essence of this treasure and is able to use it for the real spiritual progress can be its owner. People don't need much in the entire material world, but they don't know about this. They are looking for a lot of things, but of little significance, whereas the great treasure is near them. This treasure gives the worthy one the power of the path. In India, yogis know it as Kundalini. But if people who are unworthy because of their negative qualities of the soul try to use this spring of the great power of this treasure to dominate others, then this force will throw them to the foot of the stairs leading to the heavenly. Their existence will become miserable and their destinies sad. They will fritter away their lives and have to begin accumulating this treasure again. Do I understand right that a person who has found this treasure can't return to a usual worldly life? If a good person chooses a worldly life and wants to return to the external, they will never stop him or her. Everyone is free in one's choice. Nevertheless, it is impossible to take into a material life those values that were intended for the path to Tao. In that case, they will disappear, become elusive, so to say. This is similar to the situation with gold and pearls, jade and jasper, which can't be brought into the worlds of Tao and Te. Their different gold shines. The treasure lost by a person because of the wrong choice is saved for him or her in the absolute. And then that person will be able to find it again in the next incarnation. When the soul is ready, I give it this treasure. And all Te are always glad about the successes of everyone on the spiritual path. Huang Di continued his explanation, directing the attention of Lao Tse to the subtle worlds. Look, here is your treasure. All your anterior subtle states of the consciousness, drop by drop, have created a sea of diamond light stored in a special huge container that extends in the depths of the multidimensionality. Now unite yourselves with this divine part of you. In the depths under his body, Lao Tse saw with his vision of the soul a huge reservoir filled with radiance, looking like some diamonds sparkling in the sunlight. He touched this treasure with the arms of consciousness, and the bliss overfilled his body. He perceived that the diamond radiance was turning into the flow of radiant and transparent heavenly bliss and uniting with the embodied part of the soul. Huang Di recommended, now make a comfortable place where you could lie down and let this heavenly bliss pass through all the parts of your body. Whenever you connect with the divine part of yourself, you will be able to use all the power and all the skills of the soul that has been accumulated by you during many lives, during all the time of learning from me. Lao Tse spread a mat and laid down comfortably. As soon as he placed his arm of consciousness into the container with the treasure, the flow of bliss again filled his body up to the top of his head and poured out from there. It was as if his body had become a transparent, hollow vessel, and the diamond shining stream was flowing through it like a spring river that has broken the ice. For several days Lao Tse lived in this blissful mergence, interrupted only briefly. Now he could feel himself like the great Te, become a huge consciousness consisting of light. This consciousness could take the form of a human body and had a face and arms. Thus he could stand above the land, touch and cleanse his material body with the arms of the soul. It seemed to him that he achieved the fullness of the divinity, and that nothing would ever shake this state. It seemed to him that he recognized everything, that the perfection was attained, and that the supreme, ultimate was reached. Huangdi did not open his eyes, since his disciple really was in the similar state to that of the great Te. Yet Huangdi knew that this state of Lao Tse was only a small separate drop of the great ocean of the divine consciousness, a drop with the name Lao Tse. To merge himself totally with the ocean of Tao, Lao Tse still needed to keep working hard. I love this. So that was great to read it too. It's like to hear it again is so great too. Like you literally start to feel what he's saying when you open yourself up for it. So the light is going to the top of your head and flowing out, and whoosh. Hi. So that's great. Now the next part is also just a lovely description and a lovely guiding into an experience. Really is what it is. It's like it guides you into an experience of seeing what actually is occurring. The lilies of forgiveness, right? The lilies of forgiveness have their roots in heaven. They're being used, say, on earth, but the soil is too, there's no nutrition in it, in the world. There's no nutrition for the lilies of forgiveness. So the roots are still in heaven while they grow here. Now, see, this metaphor to me is like incredible. So we're going to dive into that in the meditation. Christ's vision is the holy ground in which the lilies of forgiveness set their roots. This is their home. They can be brought from here back to the world, but they can never grow in its unnourishing and shallow soil. They need the light and warmth and kindly care Christ's charity provides. They need the love with which he looks on them, and they become his messengers, which give as they received. Take from his storehouse, that its treasures may increase. His lilies do not leave their home when they are carried back into the world. Their roots remain. They do not leave their source, but carry its beneficence with them, and turn the world into a garden like the one they came from, and to which they go again with added fragrance. Now are they twice blessed. The messages they brought from Christ have been delivered and returned to him, and they return them gladly unto him. Behold the store of miracles set out for you to give. Are you not worth the gift when God appointed it be given you? Judge not God's Son, but follow in the way he has established. Christ has dreamed the dream of a forgiven world. It is his gift whereby a sweet transition can be made from death to life, from hopelessness to hope. Let us an instant dream with him. His dream awakens us to truth. His vision gives the means for a return to our unlost and everlasting sanctity in God. So thank you so much for joining this. That was kind of a real adventure to me to listen to. It's really beautiful. I love it. So it's unique in that sense. I love this. So the beautiful metaphor that we have seen is which is really inspiring to me, is the idea of the lilies of forgiveness have their roots in heaven, and they are being brought into the world, like we shared in the meditation. They're brought into the world and are given there and received. In that, there was an increase of the fragrance, like they are double blessed now. And so it's like there's nothing lost by bringing that into this world. The lilies of forgiveness, your gift to the world is not responding as a human being, not fighting, not defending, not doing all these things, but just allowing things to fall into place. Inspired, say, the roots are still in heaven. You know your connection with Source. In that, you're inspired to do that. Now, this is the action that the initiate does, you could say. Like, this is the practice of the initiate. He is in this world, but not of it. But not only that, he is still rooted in heaven. So the light and the extension is not coming from himself. No, it's extended from Source. So beautiful. So the next part is then the chapter 15 references. And those are just totally amazing. And this time we're looking at the idea of littleness. And littleness doesn't sound good. And you don't want to belittle yourself. You don't want to make yourself small. You don't want to do all these things. And at the same time, you do it when you trust that what you give yourself, when you trust your own decisions as the best for yourself, you're actually belittling yourself. Because everything that you gave yourself is what littleness is. Now that's worth a contemplation or two. That what you gave yourself is what littleness is. And you thought you did the best for yourself. You thought, at least this is a lot better than what I did give myself. And it's like, well, no, not really, because you cannot distinguish. So don't fool yourself with that either. So with the idea of how many decisions do you make in a day, 10,000. After the meditation, there are still like 5,000 per day left. Your mind has become a lot quieter, so you don't make that many decisions anymore. You give out some of them. You say, wait for some responses to actually listen to the voice instructing you or giving you guidance. So the total amount is now, say, divided in, say, 50%. You're now on 50% of decision-making ratio compared to when we started the class. So that's progress. That's wonderful. But in chapter 15, everything is given you to bring that down to basically almost zero, that you don't have to make any decisions. So if you really listen well, and follow this instruction, apply it, and actually demonstrate it, then we're talking. Now look at this. That was the name for it. Evaluating yourself, but in a totally different way. Not knowing that by every decision you evaluate yourself. Here's more of that. Be not content with littleness, but be sure you understand what littleness is and why you could never be content with it. Littleness is the offering you gave yourself. You offered this in place of magnitude, and you did not only give it to yourself, but you accepted it of yourself. And this goes so deep. So this is like a sharp-edged sword. Littleness is the offering you gave yourself. You offered this in place of magnitude, which comes from source, and accepted it. You accepted the littleness you gave yourself. Everything in this world is little because it is a world made out of littleness, in the strange belief that littleness can content you. Well, does it? Does it content you? See, another one to contemplate. In the strange belief that littleness can content you. Does the world made out of littleness content you? Really? Surely? When you strive for anything in the world with the belief that it will bring you peace, when you strive for anything in the world with the belief that it will bring you peace, you are belittling yourself and blinding yourself to glory. You cannot see glory anymore. Everything becomes dull and grey and hopeless. When you strive for anything in the world with the belief that it will bring you peace, you are belittling yourself and blinding yourself to glory. Littleness and glory are the choices open to your striving and your vigilance. You will always choose one at the expense of the other. That doesn't sound so good. So there's no compromise here. There's no compromise. You either choose for glory or you choose for littleness. And of course you experience immediately the outcome of what you have chosen. But it can be that you're so used to littleness. So, in other words, once you choose for glory, once you choose for magnitude, you know what happened. It's like something is given you. See, this is the part where the difference is, you could say. When it is given you as an gift to you, as a revelation, as a deep sense of connectedness, as an overjoyed response to whatever is given, glorious magnitude, like big, huge, incredible, overwhelming, then you know it came from source. If it's little, it's flat. It doesn't do much. You chose it. And it's like it's dead. It's dead. It doesn't bring you to life. It does not do anything with you. You decided it. You got the consequences. And so be it. So this is where you are content with. You accepted it. You accept that your choices are leading to okay. Yeah. Like if you compare it to the notes on the piano, 88 notes, right? 88 notes, the black and the whites, 88 notes. Now you play the E minor. Ding, 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 ding. And you're content with it. Like that is the metaphor here appropriate. You play just one single note, monotonous, like no variation. Maybe starting to play slower and slower and sinking deeper into the gray area. Now here's a piano with 88 notes. You could play anything you want with the most beautiful harmonies and all of this. And what do? You play the E flat. And you say, oh, well, that's just the way it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what I'm used to. I know what I have, and yeah, that's it for me now. So the initiate is the one who actually came to the revelation. This cannot be it. This isn't it. I know of celestial melodies. I know of beauty that is indescribable. I know of that, what moves me. I feel that inspiration in me. I know of harmonies and all this. I know of rhythm, I know of dance, I know of all this, and I cannot choose just an E flat. That's not going to be it for me. Now here, how do you get from this one E flat to the harmony, to the universe, where everything is like total harmonious, totally in accord, literally, in total expression of itself, in magnitude, expanding, right? Taking it completely over, that the whole universe becomes still to listen to it. What has to happen for that? Does that move you? Yes, that will move me. Now, that's the choice you make by not making a choice. Now you open yourself up for, and you decide in the morning, I'm not going to make any decisions by myself. I listen to the voice of the universe. I literally listen to these celestial harmonies that are playing within me. I listen to that and let that inspire me to anything. I will be moved to that. I will be put in action. I will know exactly where to go, what to do, who to talk to, what to say at any given time in any given place where I have to be or where I find myself, literally. I don't have to decide where to go. That is all going to be given. I don't have to decide. I don't have to make a decision. Now here I reduced my decision ratio to 0. Like literally, there's only one decision to make in the morning, and that's I'm not going to decide. So that's rules of decision. That's another chapter. But I use it here because of the fact that you evaluate yourself continuously. That was the idea. Yeah, here we are. But what you do not realize each time you choose is that your choice is your evaluation of yourself. Choose littleness and you will not have peace. For you will have judged yourself unworthy of peace. And whatever you offer as a substitute is much too poor a gift to satisfy you. And you know this very well, because it will not satisfy you. It is essential that you accept the fact and accept it gladly that there is no form of littleness that can ever content you. You are free to try as many as you wish, but all you will be doing is delay your homecoming. You're free to do it, but it just delays your homecoming. For you will be content only in magnitude, which is your home. And you know this. You feel yourself a lot better when you experience this magnitude. Suddenly everything starts to fall into place and make a lot of sense, only confirming your connectedness, giving you a total sense of peace. There's a deep responsibility you owe yourself, and one which you must learn to remember all the time. The lesson will seem hardest first, but you will learn to love it when you realize that it is true and constitutes a tribute to your power. You who have sought and found littleness, remember this: every decision that you make stems from what you think you are and represents the value that you put upon yourself. Believe the little can content you, and by limiting yourself, you will not be satisfied. That's the E minor or the E flat for you. On the piano, this is one tone, while you actually love to listen to a melody. And this E flat is not going to do it for you. For your function is not little, and it is only by finding your function and fulfilling it. Oh, for your function is not little, and it is only by finding your function and fulfilling it that you can escape from littleness. So this is a deep responsibility you owe yourself, and one which you must learn to remember all the time. So this is the mind training. This is the training for you. Remember all the time. What do I need to decide? I need to decide not to decide. I do that in the morning, or I do it during the day. I'm not going to decide. If I decide now, I'm limiting myself. I'm choosing littleness, and that will never satisfy me. It will frustrate me. I will become angry. I will not be happy with it. I think completely that I miss something, because this E flat is boring. It's not going to satisfy my sense of melody. It's not going to bring me into a state of glory, into an expansion, into magnitude. That's not what it's going to do. So you know that you cannot be satisfied with littleness. That's why you're here and listening to this. That's the beauty of it. It's as simple as that. It did not satisfy. It was not it. You thought it was it, and it is not it. You admitted it, and now you want to go further with this. You want to take the next step with it. That's exactly what's being offered here. And it's all great. When God gave himself to you in your creation, he established you as host to him forever. He has not left you, and you have not left him. All your attempts to deny his magnitude and make his son hostage to the ego cannot make little whom God has joined with him. Every decision you make is made for heaven or for hell, and will bring you awareness of what you decided for. The Holy Spirit can hold your magnitude clean of all littleness. The Holy Spirit can hold your magnitude clean of all littleness, clearly and in perfect safety in your minds, untouched by every little gift the world of littleness would offer you. But for this you cannot side against him in what he wills for you. See, that's about as clear as you can have it. Every decision you make is made for heaven or for hell, and will bring you the awareness of what you decided for. The Spirit, Holy Spirit, can hold your magnitude clean of all littleness, clearly and in perfect safety in your minds, untouched by the little gifts of the world. But for this you cannot side against him in what he wills for you. Like, you have to come to an acceptance. Is it a sacrifice, is then the question. And this is another contemplation. Is it a sacrifice to leave littleness behind and wander not in vain? It is not sacrifice to wake to glory, but it is sacrifice to accept anything less than glory. Learn that you must be worthy of the Prince of Peace born in you in honor of him whose host you are. So here's the first, say, Christmas idea, in fact. Is it a sacrifice to leave littleness behind and wander not in vain? It is not sacrifice to wake to glory, but it is a sacrifice to accept anything less than glory. Learn that you must be worthy of the Prince of Peace, born in you in honor of him whose host you are. Here we are then. So this is the practice. You choose in your decisions. You choose between heaven or hell. Now, heaven, you don't know how to choose for that. You literally don't know. Otherwise, you would have done it, and you would not be finding yourself in a littleness experience. So choosing for littleness, you know very well how to do that. You are familiar with that. So that makes it new. So the choice for heaven is first knowing that there's such a thing. then handing over all decisions to Holy Spirit, He will lead you gently to this place, to the glory, and say, let go of the say the littleness, because you don't want it. As simple as that. You don't want littleness. Nobody wants littleness, of course not. So that's so great. But you don't know how to choose for heaven. You tried and you failed. You tried and you failed. All this. So that's the beauty of what we shared today, and I love it. So looking back at what we have done today, it's like making the 10,000 decisions that you make during your day, bringing that down to 5,000 by meditating, bringing that down to one choice a day. Early in the morning, or as soon as you open your eyes, you decide not to decide, and let this day come to you. Let it fall into place as it is given, and continuously in all situations, in fact, remembering, I don't have to decide. I'm not making a decision. I'm not making the decision. I'm letting this go. It will be decided for me, and it will come to me in a way that I can accept it and I can feel that I've chosen for glory, because there's no conflict in this. I cannot experience conflict. If I experience conflict, then it is something else I want. But if I say, give up this littleness and come into the decision for heaven, I get the experience of that. I literally come into an experience of connectedness, of magnitude. So these are the principles of it, and this is the practice of it, and the realization of it, and the demonstration of it is literally on a moment-by-moment basis. And that's what you keep in mind. In fact, you train your mind to do so. All right, so that was what I wanted to share today as an introduction into evaluating yourself. Now we have a small video to watch that Janine is sharing with us.
Unchains communion, sinless green awakening, come whole among her, spontaneity, upright saviorship, set free, go and sin no more, words for you and me, wellspring up eternally, giving to living, like-kind reflection, God intimate connection, virgin sinlessness. Amen.